Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040, and today I'm here to discuss and share my thoughts with all of you about the series of images that have been posted for the upcoming Batman Caped Crusader animated series, which is set to be aired on August 1st, 2024 on Amazon Prime. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into it. Let's have a look at the first images for this animated series. And before we go any further, a special shout out to Serum Lake, who posted an incredible video sharing these unbelievable images that was posted. Highly recommend you check out his video and his channel. He puts out some excellent BTAS content. So let's start with the first image that was posted, and this is an image of Batman. First of all, I have to say I am absolutely loving this costume. It's kind of like a throwback to Batman's debut in 1939. Only thing missing is the purple gloves, but it's not a big issue. But I like the blend of BTAS and JLU and a little bit of TNBA all rolled into one. I think it looks absolutely incredible. And just by looking at this image alone of Batman, this show definitely has kind of that 1940s retro vibe to it. So I'm really liking it a lot. And this is definitely going to be a very different kind of show to BTAS and TNBA. So, costume wise, we're off to a great start. Absolutely love it. I think it looks fantastic. And speaking of looking fantastic, how about the new design for Clayface? Now, obviously, when you think of Clayface, you automatically think of the giant hulking mud monster who can shapeshift into anybody. But this design they've come up with for Clayface is a throwback to the original Clayface look many years ago in the 1940s comic books, where he was kind of like this Phantom of the Opera type of villain going around murdering people who were involved in remakes of his films. So I'm really digging this Clayface look a lot. Kind of reminds me of the redesign they came up with for Scarecrow in the TNBA series. So, out of all of the villains we're going to probably see in Caped Crusader, Clayface is one that I'm most looking forward to seeing, and I have no doubts just by this design alone, the episode that he's going to be appearing in has got dark written all over it, and I'm all in for it. So let's go. Loving the Clayface design, it looks phenomenal. And it wouldn't be a Batman cartoon without the appearance of this legendary femme fatale, Catwoman. Now, the design they've come up with for Catwoman is pretty much an adaptation of her classic purple costume from the 1950s. And they've kind of used this design before in Batman the Brave and the Bold. And, you know, I can kind of see the vibe they're going for this show. They're kind of going for this golden age sort of feel for Batman Caped Crusader. And just by looking at the design they've come up with for Catwoman, they're definitely going in that direction. Now, obviously, for me, when I think of Catwoman, I always think of the black leather outfit with the whip. So it's cool to see this design again in animation. So I'm all for it. Not really sure how Catwoman is going to be portrayed in Caped Crusader. Is she going to be an anti hero or is she going to be a full blown villain? Very hard to say, really, but I do like the design for this Catwoman. Really reminds me a lot of the old classic Batman comic books from the 1950s. So, should be very interesting to see what kind of role Catwoman is going to play in Caped Crusader. Now, this design for Bruce Wayne and the young lady who I would imagine is Selina Kyle kind of reminds me of how actors used to look back in the 50s in terms of the style of clothing they would wear. And yeah, I kind of like it. You know, you can tell Bruce Wayne looks really young. So obviously, this is going to be probably Bruce Wayne in his younger years, in the early stages of his crime fighting career as Batman. And yeah, I kind of like it, you know, because the design they came up with for BTAS for Bruce Wayne, he looked quite bulky and massive. Obviously, in some forms of media, Bruce Wayne is perceived as this hulking like guy, but here he looks very typical billionaire playboy, and I like it. I think he looks really good. The lady there, who I would imagine is Selina Kyle, or unless it's Julie Madison, it's very hard to say, but I'm guessing that's Selina Kyle. I like it. I like it a lot. It looks all right. She looks good. Bruce Wayne looks great. So, you know, there's never really been a bad design for Bruce Wayne. I have never come across a bad design for Bruce Wayne. Obviously, some are better than others, but yeah, I like this one. I think this one looks pretty decent, in my opinion. Also, we got our first look at Commissioner Gordon. Now, this design for Commissioner Gordon threw me off at first. I thought this was Lucius Fox, but now they've confirmed that this is indeed Commissioner Gordon. So it looks like they're basing Commissioner Gordon on the Jeffrey Wright portrayal of the character from Matt Reeves' The Batman movie. And, you know, sometimes, you know, change can be a good thing depending on how you look at it. I mean, it all boils down to is how the character is written. Now, obviously, we all think of Commissioner Gordon as a grey haired old man with the big moustache and glasses. But this design for Commissioner Gordon, it looks okay. I've got no issue with it whatsoever. It all comes down to, as I said already, the way he's written and who's providing the voice for him. So, you know, I seriously thought this was Lucius Fox, but I haven't got an issue with this design for Commissioner Gordon. Obviously, this is probably a different universe, so no issue with me whatsoever. But for the most part, he looks okay. It's kind of how I would imagine Jeffrey Wright's Commissioner Gordon to look like when he does become commissioner in the Batman sequel. So, yeah, for the most part, I like it. But I'm not going to lie, I actually thought this was Lucius Fox at first. Now, obviously, there's probably going to be some people who may have an issue with the design they've come up with for Commissioner Gordon, but I've got no issue with it whatsoever. It looks okay. We'll just have to wait and see how he's going to be written and perceived in the show when it does get released. And what about the design for Harley Quinn? Now, you talk about a massive departure from the Harley Quinn we all know and love. This Harley Quinn here, I would not want to meet in a dark alley. She looks downright scary. And just like what I said about the new design for Clayface, this new design for Harley Quinn is very impressive. And obviously, when we think of Harley Quinn, we of course think of the black and red wearing jumpsuit, court jester hench girl, blindly in love with the Joker, saying weird stuff, cracking jokes, and has that high pitched, annoying voice. This Harley Quinn here, I'm getting the impression that this Harley Quinn is a lady of few words. And I really like this one a lot. There's no joking here. This Harley Quinn looks very serious and means business. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how Harley Quinn is going to be portrayed in the show. Now, a little bit of information I did find out regarding Harley Quinn. Now, obviously, we all know that in Harley Quinn's origin story, Harleen Quinzel was a doctor for the Joker at Arkham Asylum. This Harley Quinn, from my understanding, will have no connection whatsoever to the Joker. So that in itself is also a massive departure from the Harley Quinn character that we've come to know and love for the last 3 decades. So I'm really intrigued to see how they're going to pull off and execute Harley Quinn for the Cape Crusader animated series. And speaking of Harleen Quinzel, here is a new design for her. And at first, I actually thought this was Lois Lane. She kind of does look like Lois Lane a little bit with the dark hair, but this is a completely new look for Harleen Quinzel. Now, obviously, when I think of Harleen Quinzel, I think of blonde hair, blue eyes, and has a much more laid back approach and a much more serious quality in her voice. From my understanding, Harleen Quinzel is going to be Bruce Wayne's psychiatrist, so I think that's going to be really interesting and could be a lot of fun if done right. And Harleen Quinzel is going to be the complete opposite to what we know. So Harleen Quinzel by day is going to be more bubbly, more jokey, and generally more open as opposed to her villainous persona. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they're going to execute Harleen Quinzel in the show, and I'm very intrigued to see what kind of origin story they're going to come up with her. But for the most part, Harleen Quinzel in the Cape Crusader, she looks all right. You know, she looks totally different to what I remember, but this is completely different, completely new. So I'm all for it. I'm willing to give it a shot. You never know. It could be better than the DCAU. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think anything is going to be as good as the DCAU Harley Quinn, but it could be just as good, I think. So let's just wait and see. But the design for Harley Quinn and the design for Harleen Quinzel, for the most part, really like it a lot. Although I probably like the Harley Quinn design maybe just a little bit more. But Harleen Quinzel, yeah, it looks all right. I like it. So there you have it, guys. There is the first images for the upcoming Batman Cape Crusader animated series. For the most part, I think they look really cool. I especially love the design for Batman's costume. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Harley Quinn, Clayface, they look phenomenal. Harley Quinn, downright scary. Harleen Quinzel looks really good. Commissioner Gordon looks okay. Jury's still out on that one in terms of how the character will be perceived, but for the most part, every design looks good. The Catwoman design looks great. Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle looks great as well. I think all of these images look really good, and just by looking at these images alone, this is definitely shaping up to be a really good show. So, fingers crossed, let's hope for the best. This has been a long time coming, and it's finally going to happen. And we've got to wait till August when the first episode is aired. So, let's hope for the best, and should be a really good one. So, I'm really pumped for this. So, let's go. So, that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What's your thoughts on the first images for Batman Cape Crusader? Do you like them? Which one's your favourite? Batman, the new design for Harley Quinn, Clayface, Harleen Quinzel, Commissioner Gordon, Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle. You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time. So until then, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.